Hey, 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 testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. See how everything's going here. See how everybody's doing. Hopefully everybody's doing well today. Getting the rest of my stuff all set up. Tweet sent out. Check. Let's see. YouTube community post. Check. Discord notification. Check. Maybe enough people knows that I'm live now. So how is everyone doing so far in here today? This is yet another pop-up stream. You know, I used to stream at one point pretty regularly, getting the old Vita up and going now. It's really not old. It's kind of newish to me. Yeah, let's see what's kind of going on over here today. I'm starting to hear my craziness. Every time I connect this USB cable up to my Vita, it seems like it just keeps connecting back and forth via USB. So let's see how well another pop-up stream on a Sunday works out. See who all comes in. Anybody's got some good questions today, that would be awesome to hear. Okay, so let's see here. What is going on here? Hello. Isaac, message retracted. Okay, Isaac. I don't know why that message came back. I did set up some filter words, I must say, simply because I was worrying about what happens if during the chat here, if somebody put something that was inappropriate, would it land in the final stream? But I think most of that's kind of been solved out here today. So there you go. You can type and you can see your name in this lovely corner right here, which will be archived on the channel forever. That's the type of entertainment that I provide to each and every one of you. So let's see here. Mr. Schwartz. Hello, mister. Well, hello. Hopefully you are doing very well. Let's see. Love your videos. Mr. Beast? What? Mr. Beast? Who watches Mr. Beast? What do they have, like 100 subs now? A whole 100 subs? Mr. Beast has nothing on me. Neither does Joe Rogan or any of these other people. Why? Have they taught you how to hack any consoles? Have they shown you the latest and the greatest? Or, as we say, the latest and the greatest in PlayStation 4 homebrew news and much, much more? No. Joe Rogan hasn't helped you out with that. Neither's Mr. Beast. We're fine. Okay, good. Hussein07 says thank you. Thank you. Hey, finally, a PlayStation 4 question by Ola Flame. Can you run Linux on PS4 base or slim? So yeah, you can run Linux for sure. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get the old YouTube cranking up again here today. I'm gonna show you some things. Let's see. By the way, I did a video the other day on the Vita dock, which we'll talk about maybe a little bit here today. That thing is now my #1 ranked video for 1 day reoccurring. So I'm kind of impressed with that because I kind of wasn't expecting this video right here to do as well as it is. But right now I logged in, obviously, before I started the stream and noticed that this thing was doing really well. Okay, so going back to the Linux question. Linux, oh, you got to scroll down. They do this autocomplete thing. Yeah. All right, so let's go Linux. And here we go. So we got Gen 2 right here. And then we've got, this is Arch Linux that's right over here. So yeah, there's a couple of different ways to kind of get those things going if you would like to. Let's go here. Let's copy it. Let's come back over here. Let's paste it. That should be clickable. So you'll be able to click and look on that. But yeah, pretty much any system. I'm using, actually what I recorded those videos for, that was an older, the very first model of the PlayStation 4, which is what I used during that time. So yeah, works out really, 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 really wonderful. Let's see here. Hi. What's up, Ellipse Gaming? Hi to you. You think your BZ image is wrong. So LaFlame, that is usually a good indicator that, yeah, there's probably something wrong with that image if it doesn't boot. There is also a few things that you can do in regards to your PlayStation 4, which I've been thinking about making a video on, kind of like best practices for running Linux distros. Since I have repurposed that hard drive that I use to run Linux to put some other stuff that I have or some other programs on. So I don't have that Linux image available where I can just plug it in and reboot and try it again. But yeah, people are really pumped out. I don't know why. The Linux videos have always done well. I haven't made a new one since December, but yeah, I mean, people really like the Linux stuff. The reason I don't create lots more videos about it is simply because I don't use Linux myself on my PlayStation 4. I have a dedicated Linux box that I do all of my Linux stuff on, which is, obviously, I'm a big fan of Kali Linux. And then if you look back on my channel in the earlier days, I did a bunch of Arch Linux, but I've always kind of ran those on extra PCs that I've had around the house. Yeah, and I've got too many of those PCs right now. Let's see, what else do we have here? By the way, if you got a question, drop it in to the chat. Let's see, I had one of these. I guess I must have removed it. Let me just go and retype something here. Another question. Drop it in chat. I love how big that font size is right now. Let's see. Wow, they default to 256. Yeah, I don't need that. Whee! Let's see, even that, is that even proper English? Got a question, comma, drop it in chat? I guess so. I don't know. Let's see, what else do we have in here today, my friend? You look like Mr. Beast. Okay. Do I look like Mr. Beast? I don't know. Do I? I don't have his, what does he have? Doesn't he have like a goatee or something like that? Yeah, he has something like that. I don't know. I don't think I've ever really watched Mr. Beast. Not because I don't like him, just mainly because he doesn't really have much the content that I like. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's very popular. Crazy popular. Let's see. I try for Gen 2. It doesn't work. Try Arch Linux then. Try that other one that I had for Arch Linux. Nice to see your videos, buddy. Greetings from New Zealand. No real questions. No worries. If you have no real questions, count 0. I am just happy that you are hanging out here with me today. Okay, so good. Mr. Mike, mind if I ask you? You're not doing much. Why you're not doing any Switch jailbreak tips and tutorials? I hacked my Switch and need some tips about it. Lloyd. So if you want to know why I don't make any Switch content outside of the few videos that I created, and it's primarily because I'm just not that interested in that scene. I'm a PlayStation fanboy from the very beginning. I remember like going through. I mean, it really didn't really start with me until PlayStation 2 is when I really kicked into it. But I remember like with PlayStation 1, for example, I was a teenager, and at that time, Resident Evil 1 came out, and I could not wait to play it. I could not afford a PlayStation 1 at that time. And so a buddy of mine, his dad was into electronics, and his dad bought a PlayStation 1. And I think either we came up with the money maybe together to buy Resident Evil, but we bought Resident Evil, and I was like, my mind was blown. But my only experience of using a PlayStation was always through going to another person's house and hanging out. When PlayStation 2 came around, I actually had my own console, and that was where like it was so awesome. I remember I did chip a PlayStation 2. This is way back in the days where it was crazy, difficult. Now, you've got the free McBoot cards. I made a bunch of those. Actually, I made a video on creating a free McBoot card. But anyway, during that time, it was crazy hard to get backups to run. But yeah, that was my first experience. Then the rest is kind of downhill from there. I mean, as far as I really have stuck with PlayStation stuff. I've had a lot of fun with the original Xbox and with the Switch too. But I can say personally, the last time I played a Switch now has been months ago. I do have a Switch, obviously the one that you see on the channel that I use to hack. That Switch, I still have it. It's not even in the right now. I need to redo the RCM jig. It's still setting out there. I mean, I haven't used it in so long is what I'm basically saying. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, the reason that I don't bring up the Switch on the channel here is because I simply just don't use it. If I use stuff, then that's what you're going to see for the most part. Even though, Switch, oh yeah, there is one other thing about Switch. For those of you that don't know, with Nintendo and with Nintendo Switch, they are absolutely brutal at copyright takedowns. So if you look at modded warfare, for example, you go back to even like one of his videos, he talked about getting a takedown notice from Nintendo. Nintendo is brutal if you talk too much about their stuff, and especially if you have some followers, they will take it down. Sony, for my channel, Sony has never like done anything, which has been great for me. So I haven't had any sort of problems there. I have had not a copyright strike. I did have a terms strike one time, and I talked about this on another stream. That was when I did a denial of service Python video, which I've really been thinking about bringing some Python or bringing some programming back to this channel. I don't know if people want programming type of related stuff. I worked as a developer for a long number of years. Obviously, I haven't been a developer for a while, but that's something that I've really been thinking about bringing back. Okay, let's see. Good. Let's see. Sounds good. I got a PS4 jailbroke. Then it ended up getting a fat PS3. Oh, sweet. Top Line Gaming. That's an awesome comment. I'm really glad to hear that you got a PS4 and then you got a fat PS3 as well from watching your videos. Yeah, appreciate that. What is new on the PS4? Well, there's a few things. PS4 scene has been kind of quiet. Can you use a flash drive 3.0 for Linux, or do I need a hard drive? So Flame, you can use either one. I used a little external hard drive. This isn't the one, but this is one that, this right here is a little 4 terabyte one. And really, I'm just using this for some backups that I had. But yeah, I don't know why that yellow is conflicting with the green screen. That's crazy. Why is yellow? Why is yellow being picked up as that? Let's see, what else do we have here? I have a PS Vita 1000, but right analog's broken, and I use my PS4 controller, but I can't disable my built-in analog stick if I use a PS4 controller. It's drift. Let's see. So if you've got a PS Vita, so you use your DualShock 4 controller, but I can't disable my built-in analog stick. So there is, if you are on a Vita, this is for your question there, Mr. Schwartz. And let's see if this works. If you are on a Vita, let's see, I think that just picked up. If you are on a Vita, what you can do is you can go and you can download this thing right here, which is auto plug into. And yes, I've been playing Persona 4 Golden. If you check out my YouTube community page, then you'll see that's what I've been playing. But to answer your question there, Mr. Schwartz, I know I'm probably butchering your name. There is a plug-in there that will allow you to disable your analog stick. And here it is. It's actually up here at the top. So there is analog stick disable. These are for the Vita. A couple of different ways to swap those around. But yeah, if you've already got your controller set up, there is a couple of ways to disable that analog stick if you want to. Really, I'd recommend just going and looking around in some of these different types of plugins, to kind of see what all that you can do. I don't know if that helped you or not. Is there any underrated packages for the PS4? Underrated packages. I think one may be the P+A, which I really haven't spent a lot of time with before. Let's see. Let's go over to this one right here. Let's see. Okay, so this is switching back to the PlayStation 4. P+A is one that I would right now say is probably an underrated package. Let's go into this one. There it is for PS4. I just verifying I had the right place here. But if you come in here and you go to that URL, what you'll see here is that we've been using a bunch of different types of media players. So the built-in media player for the PlayStation 4 is horrible. Lappy created one, which is okay, but that one does not support MPKs. And so this MPK format is definitely, P+A is probably one of the most underrated packages, I think, right now that's out for the PS4. This week, hopefully as I'm getting to feel a little bit better, I don't know if you guys can still hear my nastiness in my voice, but I'm hoping to maybe make a video that is related a little bit more towards, some of this, maybe even this package right here. This is a Switch port, so they designed it first for the Switch, and then they started using this. Then it was kind of ported over to the PlayStation 4. But yeah, this one's pretty nice. You can also stream the media from an HTTP server. And let's see what else you can do. Yeah, there's different configuration files, 720p and 1080p. Yeah. Anyway, that's one package that I think is pretty cool. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Red Ghost YT? How are you doing? Let me scroll down a little bit in the bottom and make sure that I'm kind of going from the bottom up a little bit. Eclipse Gaming 5.05 versus 9.00. I like that there's already a comment there from Mark Land Campbell. Thank you, Mark Land, for typing and chatting in here with us. So what the difference between those two is, or what would I recommend? Honestly, I'm more along the lines of falling into that same camp as Mark Lynn, which is 9.00. I did a video on my channel where I had a 6.72 machine, and I just decided that it just was not worth me staying on 6.72 anymore. And I took that one machine and I went to 9. Now, I have 4 PS4s. One of them is still at 6.72 in hopes that at some point there will be some maybe custom firmware or something like that that happens with it. I don't have my fingers crossed on that. So yeah, I don't have my fingers crossed that that's going to happen. But I went to 9.00, not having to deal with the back ports, which I think a lot of people now are pretty much done with the back ports or backporting all this stuff. They're just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to kind of, make it for 9, and if it doesn't work on your machine, then forget it. But yeah, that's honestly my true opinion. My true opinion is to go to 9.00. If you are on that, and that 5.05 is considered the golden firmware. Best case scenario is if you have a little bit of extra money, I would keep that 5.05 machine and put it in a closet somewhere, and I would get me another machine that at least I could upgrade to 9.00, and then I would have the best of both worlds. Like, that's the thing, like with these consoles, right? Is that it's a weight game with all of this. Like, I would recommend right now that everybody has, if you can afford it, have multiple systems. Like right now, with all of my systems in my house, I've got one that's on 6.72, 2 that is on 9.00, and then I have one that's on right now 9.50 beta. I know the final version came out. That was actually an episode of Homebrew News, but I'm planning on taking that 9.50 machine and then going back to 9.04 because you can do that, and then just waiting. I don't like to stay, multiple releases ahead because I don't use that PlayStation for like, I'm not a Elden Ring fan. I can't wait to like play any of those type of games. I'm not one of those type of people. So anyway, yeah, hopefully that helps you with that. Let's see here. Looking down in here. Any more news on 9.03? Also keep doing these lives. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, thanks, LaFlame. I really like live streams. One thing I can tell you about live streams is that they're very much hit or miss if you don't schedule like a week out in advance. Because if you schedule it on YouTube, that person has there's a little scheduled mark, and then as soon as you go live, that person on any of their devices gets a notification. And so I have stats that shows when I schedule them versus non-schedule them, the difference in the amount of people that shows up for the stream. I'm not one that's like only, you got to have something, this X number of people to be like happy or anything like that. Because any of you just spending a second here with me means like the world to me, because there's so much stuff you could be doing regardless. But yeah, stats basically prove though, if you do schedule your streams, then more than likely you're going to do better, or more people's going to at least know about it and be involved. For 9.03, no, I made a video a while back. Well, not too long ago. It was this video right here. This one right here. The place, and since I have enjoyed this because I've been told you need to change your thumbnail, and I was like, what do you mean? Wow, what's wrong with the thumbnail? And so first off, I heard, well, it doesn't match your other ones. And I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of on purpose. And then the second thing that I heard, which I absolutely lolled at, was you need to change this to Will Smith and then the other thing being Chris Rock. Maybe so. Need to do a little bit of that other type of stuff out there too. Yeah. So let's see here, my friend. Top Line Gaming. Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll try it now. Go for it, friend. Of course, Markland. So, Ghost Biker, with the jailbreak, will we be able to connect any Bluetooth device with the PS4? For the most part, even without a jailbreak, you can connect whatever Bluetooth device you want, with the PlayStation 4, like audio. I mean, it's got all the Bluetooth. It's got everything built into it. I have a video idea that's related to your comment there, Ghost Biker, that may help others. Okay, well, let's see. Unless other people's got questions, which please feel free to drop them in there. It's going to maybe kind of kick open and see what else that we had here. So the Vita dock. Let's go back to this one. So the Vita dock. So does anybody here have a Vita already? Does anybody here have a Vita, kind of been playing with the Vita or knows anything about it? By the way, don't forget to like this stream if you don't mind. It helps. The more people that likes it, it also helps in the discovery part. Like we're a slave to the YouTube algorithm, right? It's got to, more people that like stuff is the more it's recommended. I would personally love to see the PlayStation 4 homebrew scene grow and grow and grow because there's so much cool stuff you can do with it. Ghost Biker says, I cannot connect to Sony headsets. I never made a video on how to do, on how to use Bluetooth with that. So I couldn't tell you there, Ghost Biker. I think I've hooked up a Bluetooth headset one time in the day, but not much more than that. Top Line Gaming says, ordered one the other day. LOL. Okay. Well, then let's see here. Let's get some chat going on up here on this too, so you can all hopefully see your chat, if that works. PS Vita. Yeah. Okay. So we'll just go right here. And that is weird. Let's see. Just going to see if I could get the chat to pull it back up again. PS Vita is what you got. Okay, that's interesting. So let's come back over here. It's blurred out, blanked out on that other screen too. All right, let's see if we can get something going here. So let's go testing. Maybe something will pop up. Okay. Vita 3.60. Okay. So a couple of you has got something kind of going on there, right? Okay. So let's go back over here then. So yeah, so this was the video that I did the other day, and it was on creating this Vita dock, which I have really been enjoying this little device so far. The main component that I was just going to say, and I've learned a bunch really since I made this video. The main thing that I've learned is that in order to this right here needs a dedicated power. Like I plugged it in my PS3, right, for this video, but I've plugged it directly into my television. That has helped immensely. The other thing that I have learned is that this Raspberry Pi 2 model with this power outlet right here, it will never give it enough power that it can power the Raspberry Pi as well as charge the PS Vita, which is why in in some of the forums and notes on Reddit, they said for the Vita, you absolutely had to have a Pi 3 or a Pi 4. Those just have a higher amount of electricity that runs through the system, right? Excuse me. There, I can actually just disappear if I wanted to. How long will they figure out that I'm not really there? Let's see. Excuse me. So, yeah, a Raspberry Pi 3 or a Raspberry Pi 4. If you can get one of those things, I found that the 3 and the 4, they're still a little bit more difficult to get, but still kind of cool regardless. This USB or this USB adapter for Bluetooth audio that I have right here, this was ZEXMTE. These are on Amazon, and you know, one thing I may do in a follow-up to that video is I've been asked which one exactly did I buy. I do not like putting affiliate links in my stuff, and so I will now go and I will add this. This is the one that I bought. This is the one that I bought from the Amazon website. So this is the one that will 100% work with any of your Raspberry Pis. It is Bluetooth 4. And this price, I thought this price may be a little bit higher than what I paid for it. I would click on view order, but obviously all my order information will be shown. But yeah, this one right here, this is the one that I got. It worked with absolutely zero configuration whatsoever. I was actually pretty impressed with how well it picked up. And it stays connected too. So anyway, there is a couple of models of the Raspberry Pi, maybe the 3 or the 4. I've never owned either one of those. But there is a Bluetooth that I think is built into one of those things. But this right here will last you for pretty much ever. And, you know, even if you get tired of the Vita dock, like somewhere down the road, which I always think about any piece of hardware that I ever buy, that it's always just temporary, right? That it's never something that's going to last forever. But I can use it with other things, you know, as needed. So anyway, I thought that could be kind of cool to share with you. The world of Homebrew is the best from PS to DS to Switch. There's so much Homebrew awesomeness. Yeah, top line. You definitely have it there. That is very much the truth. Let's see. So going back to the Vita. The Vita is extremely awesome, and so let's just switch over to this. And so this is what's on my Vita right now. Talk about Vita for a few minutes. We can talk about some other stuff. So this is the 20th anniversary theme. So you can also get every theme that was ever published by Vita or by PlayStation, and you can install those themes. So this is the 20th anniversary theme. I used to have this one on my PlayStation 4. I thought it was kind of cool. What I would recommend for new Vita owners is to check out this welcome park. I won't go into it or play it, but the welcome park actually shows you all of the functionalities. Like there's these back touchpads back here. Most people don't know that. There is, well, obviously all the touchscreen stuff, but it's a cool, very interactive kind of thing. The rest of this is all default links. And by the way, there is a PS4 link that's on here. I actually haven't used the PS4 link, but I know it's available. So all these are the apps that comes with it, as well as this second page here. These are just apps that come with it. Again, you can see there is PS3 remote play that's in here as well. Next up, what I have H Encore 2. H Encore 2 is the application that I talked about in my original video on how to jailbreak your Vita in about 10 minutes, which is just simply this video right here. And in this one, I teach you how to use your how to jailbreak your Vita. And then, oh yeah, I'm definitely using that. And so then Vita Deploy, this kind of is like an all-in-one kind of package that has everything in there. Vita Shell is where you'll also be spending a bunch of time. So, you can come into Vita Shell and you use this for primarily installing different packages or what is called PKGs. So, VPKs, which is the Vita package files. VPK. Yeah, VPK. PKG obviously is for PlayStation 4. So as you can see right here, going into the comment that came in through Eclipse Gaming, this one right here, which is in green, if you're asking, what is that? That is 256 gigabytes of hard drive space. Dude, you know what a 256, I don't think they made them, but a 256 gigabyte Vita card would have cost? Like a 32 gigabyte is crazy. And that is because I'm using SD to Vita, which is what was mentioned right there by Eclipse Gaming. So what does that mean? Means that at the very top of this system, the regular game card slot that I normally have, if I take this out, it will make my whole system reboot, but that's okay. I'll do the sacrifice for each one of you. And I pull this out. What I have here is I have the SD to Vita card. And so with the green screen, it really is horrible. And so, yeah, this basically pretends as if it's like an actual cartridge for the Vita. And then inside of that, oh yeah, there's no shame in that game. $256. So yeah, and I would recommend actually springing for the 256 gigabyte card. Why? Well, I'll tell you. Well, I was able to get that, at least in the US, that only cost me $33, something like that. Yeah, so I paid about $33 for it, and I would recommend springing and getting that a little bit extra space. I can't remember what it just said, but I think I'm using right now about 70 gigs, but I can also show you what all 70 gigs will get you on there. You got to go to work in the morning? Okay, well, take care there, Top Line Gaming. Peace out. Okay, let's see. I may need to switch over to this screen and back to this one. Friend request. I showed my PSN ID, which is actually very easy to find. And then I got a bunch of friend requests. Thank you, but I wasn't expecting anybody to actually be using the PlayStation Network. Okay, so let's see. What else did I have here? So that was Vita Shell. So here's another really cool feature, and that is the Homebrew browser that comes with it. And keep in mind that you can use your DualShock 4 controller, which I did outline in that video, but you don't have to use this controller type. If maybe, your hands are, maybe you can't get the right grip or something like that with it. So that's one thing to know. By the way, if you got questions, drop them in there about any of this stuff. I'd love to hear from you. As you all know, I could probably talk just to myself forever. And right now, this is it's still awake. It just takes it a while to load. So, is there a smooth way of running N64 games on your PS4 without Linux? So, LaFlame, yes, you absolutely can run your N64 games. RetroArch is one that works really, really well. There's a couple, well, I know you said right there it's kind of choppy on RetroArch. There is optimized settings that you may want to look at and you may want to play with. But yeah, there is some ways to kind of get that to work. Is Lego Star Wars going to be 9.03 on PS4? Drizzy. Lego Star Wars? I thought they already had a Lego Star Wars game on the PS4. I don't know, and to be honest with you, I haven't played those Lego-based games in a long time. Is it something on GameStop? Go look at GameStop and see what it says on there. Is it a new one? The new one. More than likely, if it's a brand new title, then yeah, they're going to be on 9.03. I would say if you wait another month or two from now, then every game that you get is probably going to be running around 9.50. By the way, don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd love to have you here. I'd love to chat with you more. Eclipse Gaming is asking about Adrenaline. So Adrenaline, I don't have installed on this yet. I don't know, that's like boo. But with Adrenaline, with the PlayStation Vita, basically that will allow me to do things like run PSP games. I do have a PSP, and with that PSP, obviously I played a lot of those games already. But yeah, so here is the Homebrew browser. And so as you can see here, there's games here, there's ports, which the port scene is like amazing. Emulators, NES, Flycast, which I guess that's the Dreamcast, Scum. Here is X64 for Nintendo 64, a bunch of SNES stuff, Commodore 64. I don't know what Open Bore is. Some Mac stuff, bunch of SNES. There is the big RetroArch. Game Boy, which is Real Boy, and then GBA. And then one of my favorite sections is just the utilities page. So there's tons. There's actually the application to get rid of the stock images. Let's see. LaFlame, do you know if Horizon is going to be available soon? No. And honestly, for the most part, I wouldn't even be waiting for it. Mainly because it's 9.03. the base image or the base game is. So you probably won't be playing that until at least we have a PS4 jailbreak that's out. So yeah, sorry, but you probably won't be getting anything like that anytime soon. Let's see. APK to play games online on PS4. Yeah, actually there is. Jail, Jailil. I believe I can see that properly. Is it possible to play games? Yeah, so let's see, what was that? That is X. So X-Link. Let's go here. So this right here is, and this is probably not the latest version of it, but you can use X-Link Kai to use a peer-to-peer LAN. And then there is another one that is like, what was that called? Hamachi. Hamache. Hamachi for PS4. This right here is this one right here is probably one of the more popular ones that you would probably want to use if you want to play online. I thought about starting a little bit of a kind of walkthrough or guide about this, but basically, yeah, this is just using it's a port of LogMeIn, and it's a virtual LAN client, so it's never going to be as good. And that's why I always go back to saying, if you really want the online stuff, it's really just great just to have a system that will let you do the online stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, so it says, just a question about Goldhand 212. Do I need to use a new USB image since I'm still using the first since the jailbreak back in December? That's actually a really good question, Mr. Anderson. So Mr. Anderson, I created a video, and the only reason I'm referring some people back to some of these videos is that I think that it may give you a little bit, maybe more insight. But you're referring to the exFAT Pico image file. So I'll give you the TLDR. We're in the same. Look, we're in the same one from a long time ago. So if you look right here in this video, there was a new image that came out, which was exFAT Pico.img, which was 6 kilobytes. The original one was this one right here, which was exFAT hacks.img. And what Mr. Anderson is talking about here is, do they need to update to this image file? The answer to that is no, absolutely not at all. This was, for the most part, intended for these little ESP32S2 devices, which I've talked a ton about here on the channel. These little devices right here, this whole system has, what was it, 2 megabytes or 4 megabytes? It's one of those two. I mean, that's the total space that the whole thing holds. The problem was that people couldn't take advantage of the onboard USB emulation because the image file was too big. It was sitting here at 4 megabytes. And so we could not put that emulation onto the little ESP32 device. So what happened was this one came out, which was Pico. And so this one, even in the release notes here, they do state that the reason that this came out was primarily because of these ESP32 devices that people were using for these little smaller devices. So if you've already got one on a USB, don't update it. Leave it exactly like it is. It's totally fine. Is there a way to change your exploit in the user guide? Let me know what you're talking about there, LaFlame. Is there a way to change your exploit in the user guide? Are you may be referring to what type of exploit that you're using, right? Like, oh, I remember now why that doesn't work. Unplugged it. Yeah, so let me know if that's what you're referring to. Wee. Um. Yeah. So inside of the user guide, there is definitely a way that you can change that to go to a different host than the one that it's currently going to. All right, let me switch back off of that. And now back over to here. And there we go. Yeah. So, okay, that's a little loud. So let's get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, inside of the settings here, whenever you set up your network, and let me make sure that I'm talking about it right. So you're referring to when you go up to user guide, helpful info, and then this user guide. Yeah, so you can change this. This is all just being controlled through the DNS. PlayStation Home. Oh, actually, PlayStation Home was awesome. Count Zero. I really liked PlayStation Home. There's actually a Reddit group that still tracks the PlayStation Home stuff. So if you've got any data that's on that, they are all about like collecting and trying to recreate it again. Let's see. If you start a tutorial, we would appreciate it. I'm guessing there you are okay. Yeah, you're referring to Hamachi. That's probably going to be on my list. Have some news about 9.03? Nope. Do you happen to know if I can dump a game onto the hard drive instead of the USB? I don't have a big enough USB. Kenneth Keller, what I would recommend then is to dump it to your hard disk drive via FTP. And I do have a video for you on this because I was actually asked this question a ton. Let's see. Let's go back to here. And let's go back to this one. Let's go over to this. Let's go FTP. This is the one that I would use, dude. This will take care of you. I spent a lot of time working on this one, but I would use FTP. So you can see the video and tell me what you think. But I used FTP mainly because, and it's also obviously better if you've got a hardwired connection, right, instead of wireless, because it's going to be really slow. But I ripped a disk via FTP on this onto a bigger hard disk drive, and it worked out really well. And that's mainly if you don't have one of these, right? You don't have an external hard disk drive that you can just plug in. Obviously, if you want the best method, it's get one of these. That's always going to be the best method there. Let's see. What else do we have in here today? Now everybody's starting to come in and pop in. I love people asking these awesome questions. One more question. Let's see. I think I missed a few. Jamie says, any news on trophy backdating and syncing without test kit? Jamie, I believe you are the one that asked me a lot about that. Gosh, I have no clue what happened to my chat. Why my chat's not working. It was working at one point. So Jamie, no, I mean, I really haven't spent really any time looking at how to, get the trophies outside of the video that I did that's also on the channel, where you can go in and you can install SQLite and you can backdate the trophies for whatever you want. And I'll tell everybody the reason that I don't have more information. I'll just go to this trophies right here. Go to this one. We'll come back over here. This one. This right here is a way that you can take those trophies from your PlayStation 4 and you can come in here and you can change this time unlocked UTC. You can edit this file. The file is just called trophy_local.db. And in this video, I talk about how you can get that out. But here's my problem. I can do this all day long because I have a jailbroken system. I can't validate that this works permanently because then I would have to have an unjailbroken system, right? So because we can't connect to PSN without the current firmware. So if I were to sacrifice a whole machine, which is what it would take somebody that's willing to give up a machine in order to find if these things sync properly to Sony's server, which I think they would. I don't know, and I won't be able to find out because I don't want to give up one of my jailbroken systems at the moment. Maybe if I can start getting PlayStation 4s for cheap or something, or maybe like later on in the life cycle, which I would expect, right? Like later on in the PlayStation 4 life cycle, you should be able to start getting these systems even cheaper, I would think. I'm talking about 5 years down the road. You don't want to go too far in the future because then, they would have already stopped producing them. But right now, Sony is still making PlayStation 4s, which is good, like for people out there. But you would have to give up your jailbroken system, which is something that I don't want to do in order to determine if these things sync and if that works properly. Count Zero says, I've got a good question. Is there going to be a jailbreak? We don't know. I'm sorry, friend. I did a full video on this about the 9.03, 9.04 scene. But wait, so I'll have a disk. How am I going to FTP the disk? So Kenneth, you put the disk in your PlayStation 4. Your PlayStation 4 connects back to your computer. And where the PlayStation disk contents dump to is directly to your PC. So that's how that works. I have some PS4 packages on legit. I have PS4 packages on a legit PS4 9.00. Can we grab the hard drive and extract these and run on a 9.0 PS4 system? So that's an interesting question. Let's do this. Let's go over to Twitter and let me go to Control Execute. Let's switch over to this screen right here. So on Twitter, Control Execute released a video. And in that video, let's see, was this it? Yeah. So in this video right here, which this will be something that I cover in the PS4 Homebrew news when I make it this week. What he did in here is that he mounted, let's go to this part. He mounted his PlayStation 4 hard disk drive to his computer, and inside of this, you'll see the different files in the file systems. So yes, can you mount a legit PS4 hard drive? Yes, you can now mount it to your PC to take a look at what's around there. As far as doing anything useful for it, no. There is a set of keys that we need in order to do anything real with it. But it is good for exploration and for also learning maybe about other potential hacking stuff that's kind of going on. So Count Zero, hopefully that helps. Kenneth, got it. Let's see. Sorry, but I do not speak that language there. But I will say that I'm sure you're asking about the PS4 9.00 stuff, and no, it's not there. PS4 ESP32S2, that is my device of choice. Oh yeah. Let's see. Let's get rid. By the way, you like Twitter? Then join me. Join me on the Twitterverse. I'd love to talk to you over there. Let's see. What else do we have in here today? So I think we were going to talk just a second about the ESP32 device. In that, I was just going to show you that that's one of my installers. But yeah, you should totally get an ESP32 device. This kind of lists all of the different devices that I've bought for this over the time. Thanks, buddy. Awesome. Well, I'm glad that helped out there. Okay. Well, I tell you what. I believe I've been going now for a little over an hour, and I think I'll probably stop the stream here for today. I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you for coming and spending a little bit of time with me and hanging out. And hopefully you got a few questions answered. I like these lives just as much as everybody else does, so I probably will be doing, well, I mean, I know I'm going to be doing more of these. I've got a playlist right now that's called PS4, Let's Do It Live, because I want to be like Bill O'Reilly. Well, I don't really want to be like Bill O'Reilly, but I liked it when Bill O'Reilly went completely bonkers and told everybody, let's do it live. You just know there was so much pain in that man's heart at that moment. But yeah, hit the subscribe button before we go. If you like this type of content, you like PlayStation related content, again, there's a little bit of everything. There's some Xbox, there's some Switch and stuff like that. You all know the drill. If you like any of this stuff, I'd love to have you here. It's free. It's free. And I'm also not one of those channels that's driven by buy my crap. Use my affiliate links. Keeps.com. I don't need any of that stuff. Independent is the way to go. And also, I have a full-time job. So, yeah, I think that's about it. And for the last question, by Zero, can you jailbreak PS4 version 9.50? Absolutely not. Bye.